True simplicity is, well, you just keep on going and going until you get to the point where you go, yeah, well, of course, where there's no rational alternative. Jonathan Ive. My friends, you learn that by simply spending time in the market. 10 to 15 minutes a day is all we ask. Everything up for the day on Friday, ending the week up. Bitcoin up the most. We'll get to Bitcoin in a minute. Let's jump first into the S&P 500 up 0.87% for the day. Still negative though. Price percent oscillator hasn't crossed over yet. Derivative oscillator gaining some momentum. It's positive, but that pesky price percent oscillator still negative on the S&P 500 two-day. First day of the latest two-day candle may be crossing over at the close of the market on Monday when this latest two-day candle finishes drawing. We'll wait, watch, and see. Derivative oscillator still negative at this point. What do we see on the two-day? Up in the morning, further up in the afternoon, price percent oscillator spiking up. Derivative oscillator still devolving. That's where we are on the S&P. Now, when we switch to the Nasdaq 100, it was up 0.97%. Now, remember, unlike the S&P, the Nasdaq 100 is positive on the price percent oscillator on the weekly chart. We see the derivative oscillator still devolving, price percent oscillator a little more than flat, green up candle for the week two-day. This is important. At the end of the market on Monday, if you have a crossover going up, that would be a two-day recross, something for you put in your notes to be looking for. Derivative oscillator still negative, losing downward momentum. Pay close attention to what you see on Monday toward the close of the market. Might give you a jumping in point for a practice trade on the Nasdaq 100. What do we see on the half day? Up in the morning, similar to the S&P, further up in the afternoon, price percent oscillator heading up. Derivative oscillator still devolving. That's where we are on stocks. We go to bonds, up for the day 0.68%. Ended the week with a red open box spinning top indecision. Again, a red open box is a slowdown in the up movement. So we had quite a slowdown after last week's nice green up candle after 3 weeks of sideways sliding and down. Price percent oscillator positive but flat. Derivative oscillator still devolving. Let's look at the two-day. It is still down. Ended up with a green spinning top, indecision, tending up, but still the price percent oscillator is negative, heading down. Derivative oscillator losing downward momentum. Now, again, this is just the first day of the latest two-day candle, but again, quite negative at this point. What do we see on the half day? Up in the morning, further up in the afternoon, price percent oscillator negative, heading up. Derivative oscillator losing downward momentum. So that's where we are on bonds. Lastly, we go to gold. Whew! Up for the day 1.49%. Is that not beautiful? Ended the week with a nice green up candle. Derivative oscillator still negative. Price percent oscillator still negative, but getting closer and closer to crossing over, going up. Who's getting excited about gold turning around? I am. If it does it, that would be quite wonderful. We will watch for that. Put that in your show notes. We'll watch for that over the course of this next week. Look at the two-day. Remember, it crossed over going up back on Tuesday the 24th and then slid sideways the next 2 days. That was Wednesday the 25th and Thursday the 26th. And then on Friday, some down movement with that wick on the bottom, but a green candle. And a nice long wick on top, price percent oscillator spiking up, derivative oscillator heading up. So it's good to see. I mean, in gold again, I'm particularly excited about this day and that nice stroke that gold took. So we'll keep our eye on things, see how this next week shapes up. Half-day chart, we can see where it was up in the morning and then a booming up in the afternoon. We can see where things just bounced off that red signal line. Derivative oscillator went positive at the end of the day. Beautiful. So that's where we are on our big four charts. Lastly, we go to Bitcoin, up for the day 2.34%. Ended the week with another green up candle, a smaller candle, but a wick on top reaching a higher high and just looks nice. Price percent oscillator heading up, derivative oscillator gaining upward momentum. Now take a look at the 2-day. It is still quite flat. First day of this latest 2-day candle is really a doji. Lots of indecision tending down. Price percent oscillators flat. Derivative, but it's positive. Derivative oscillators green, but losing momentum. So keep a close eye, particularly on this 2-day, and we'll see how it continues to move along and shape up. I'm hoping that, like we saw a sideways slide back there at the end of July, beginning of August, just sort of slid sideways, gained a little bit of just digestion of maybe that prior upward motion, and then took off again. Maybe that's where Bitcoin's going, but keep your eye on it if you are in that practice trade. And of course, we had seen where Bitcoin was down for 2.5 days, and then sort of stopped that downward movement and headed up on Friday. Price percent oscillator is still negative on the half day. Derivative oscillator still gaining downward momentum. So we'll keep an eye on things. But folks, that's where we are as we end the day on Friday. Patreon members, do not forget, the first Wednesday in September is the first day of September. That is this next Wednesday. If you haven't sent us your questions, your issues, the things you'd like us to help you cover on the live question answer call-in session at 12:30 Eastern Daylight Time, then do so this weekend. Also, the stocks or ETFs you're interested in tracking, we like to know those too to help you backtrack that stuff to give you more successful practice trades. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.